Just here to make a little video about this KD 165. This is an American-made wire-type spark plug gap tool. And I had talked about actually in my previous video about how Gear Wrench, Danaher Tools, which I think is Apex Tools now, bought out Eastco. Well, it turns out that what they had done with a lot of East Coast plants and factories, the last of which they shut down in 2010, is that they were actually producing one of the, among other brands, KD tools. So this one's, it is American made. We do have some fingerprints on it. It's probably been in the packaging for a while. But this is not the first time I've seen this. I actually had quite a few gear wrench tools that come like this. But anyway, what these are is these are wire type spark plug gauges. These are kind of interesting because the wire is molded into a plastic holder. And then that goes into this basically like a feeler gauge type of housing. The one odd thing about this unit, it has no tool to actually bend the tang of the spark plugs. In all honesty, when you buy spark plugs for cars, it seems actually in the last, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years that a lot of spark plugs, when you get them, it's kind of like the gaps are already pretty good. Seems like most auto manufacturers started to settle. So, I mean, maybe the real difference I've noticed is whether you have a naturally aspirated or a turbocharged vehicle is where it seems that you do need to make the adjustments. But these are nice just because you can take them. And since they're a round profile versus using feeler gauge, you don't have issues of maybe having a bad angle on it. You can just get it in there and it slides real easy. And then the diameter right at the peak is the only place that touches. So these are a little bit easier to use. You pull them out. I kind of like the fact that you can thumb screw it, tighten it down again, and have it just at a comfortable angle and be able to use the little tool. Besides that, I think the plastic inset or being embedded in plastic actually isn't the worst thing in the world, just because this does operate a little more smoothly. Now, as far as what I'm talking about, all these other tools, and all mine are American made. This is a little companion from Sears. I do have a Castar here, and I have something or another, an old original Craftsman. They all have this kind of tool, which is to use to bend the little tang on a spark plug. But we can see, such as this companion, and there is also 8 sizes. But on the companion, you can see they wrapped the wire around. It's actually looped around the bolt, and then it just has this little support structure where that is an aluminum that appears to be galvanized or chrome-plated steel, acts as the tag for the wire. And what I was saying about the plastic ones is all of these others, they're all pretty nice, but you can see there just ends up being some kind of issues with these that are held in by a sheet metal, because they never seem to want to get aligned quite perfectly. You kind of got to fidget with them a little bit to get them all kind of fit in there. And because of the extra space taken up by the little label holders, reinforcers, I don't know what to call those, they never really sit quite straight and kind of get a little bit tweaked. So that is one advantage of the plastic, and maybe that's why they use this, so they get all lined up nice and evenly. We can see on this old Craftsman they actually included some feeler gauges. Once again, it has a spark plug leg bender. They all seem to have 8 sizes. On this Craftsman set up just a little bit better, just because the little reinforcing tags are folded over around the wire so they're smooth. But that's a little bit more of an expensive design than the companion. And of course we have the Castar, which uses a real strange design, to tell you the truth. What I did like about the Castar is that it has 12 sizes instead of 8. So much more variety, including gauges like 50 thousandths, which is just absolutely massive. I'm not aware of anything using a spark plug that would have a gap quite that big. But maybe somebody in the comments will. And so this is the other style where they have a loop. I kind of like this Castar design just because the wire is shorter and it's held by both ends. So it ends up being just a bit more, it held in just a bit more securely. And then the way they've designed this one, it does sit flush. I should mention on this KD that they did do the thing like on that Castar I just showed, where it is millimeters on one side and then thousandths of an inch on the other. So overall, I think this little cheap KD is not too bad. It's just missing one thing, which is the little bending tool. So I just wanted to compare it to what some of the other options were. And depending on what you get, if you have just a basic wire one, once again, like this companion, they can be a little bit annoying because they're fussy to deal with. Better ones, like this Craftsman or the Castor, are a little bit easier to use, but they are inherently a different style. So anyway, thought this thing wasn't bad, and just wanted to share it with you all, do a little comparison. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.